Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
A gray whale gives boaters and beachgoers quite a show as it swims near the shore, but why is it so close?
Caught on video a terrifying armed robbery. A suspect holding up a jewelry store, telling employees not to mess with him because he's dying.
The next big thing from Apple is actually an old thing, a watch, but this one does a whole lot more than tell time. Good evening, I'm Ellen Leva in for Colleen Sullivan.
Now, David Ona, welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. And new at 8 o'clock, quite a sight off the coast of Marina del Rey. A gray whale swam close to shore tonight, brushing up against the dock and the boats. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride is live in Marina del Rey with the amazing video. Melissa.
And David, that whale is still here in the harbor. Just a couple of minutes ago, I saw him actually come up out of the water down near where the Sheriff's Department is stationed, as well as the Coast Guard. And joining me live from the LA County Sheriff's Department is Deputy David Scheinfarb. David, why is this whale so close, and what is its condition, or how does it appear?
Well, he appears fairly healthy. We've got a couple good looks at him when he came to the surface. He's got some good barnacles on him for a gray whale. We don't know why he came to the marina. Must have got separated from his pod somehow.
You guys have been out in a boat. It seems like maybe trying to steer him back out into the ocean. And what has his response been?
Yeah, I don't think he wanted anything to do with us. He just wanted to play on a buoy that we have out there on a chain. He was just bouncing around, kind of either rubbing his back on the chain that stretches from the buoy to the anchor on the floor. And he did that for at least a half an hour until he moved on and then ended up over by our docks just a few minutes ago.
How uncommon is it for whales or dolphins to come into this part of the harbor and to come in so far?
Well, dolphins we get quite frequently, I would say on a weekly basis. They come in, but they go out no problem. Whales is a different story. We had a whale several years ago that came in and hung out near the breakwater at least for 3 or 4 weeks. Until he finally moved out.
And you mentioned that he appears to be fine, doesn't seem to be in any kind of distress.
Yeah, no, he appears to be fine. I actually took some video and sent it to a marine mammal rescue organization, Pete. His name is Pete, and he looked at the video and said he didn't seem to be sick or in any distress, but also he's in a mystery of why he's here at the marina.
So what happens now? What's the plan? Just let him do his thing and see what happens in the morning?
Well, it's up to the whale what he ends up wanting to do. But if we can encourage any of the boaters that come out looking for him or see him, please give him a lot of room because he may not be able to navigate around you. We don't want him to get injured by anybody's boat, propeller, or that type of thing. So if you do see him, just please give him enough room so he doesn't get injured.
Thank you very much for bringing us up to date, and that's the very latest live here in Marina del Rey. We'll have more tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. Reporting live in Marina del Rey, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Melissa. He's armed and dangerous, but this criminal says he has nothing to lose. It's an unusual holdup. The suspect, who claims to be dying, threatens to kill a jewelry store worker. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan reports from Riverside, where police want to catch the robber before he strikes again.
We're relying or hoping that someone in the community will recognize this individual.
Police say it's tough to tell just how dangerous or desperate this guy might be after he threatened to kill a jewelry store clerk, telling her, "I don't care what happens to me. I'm dying anyway."
Do not attempt to engage this individual. His actions have shown him to be dangerous.
Riverside Police Lieutenant Mike Cook says it happened at Kevin Jewelers inside the Tyler Galleria in Riverside last Wednesday around 7:40 in the evening. Surveillance video shows him walking into the store where he apparently tells the clerk that he's looking for a ring to give his wife for their 30th anniversary. But then he pulls a small gun out of his pocket, threatens to kill the clerk, and demands jewelry from inside the display case.
The items taken were numerous diamond rings and other types of jewelry.
As for what the robber said to the clerk inside the store, it's tough to tell exactly what he meant by it.
We're told that this individual told the clerk that he was dying. Is there anything you can say about what his mental state might be in all of this?
Well, I don't know what his mental state was. We're not prepared to discuss any specific statements that were made at this point. That's part of the investigative process, and so we're not ready to discuss that.
But detectives are hoping someone recognizes this guy and calls in with information. The robber is described as a white man in his 50s, about 5'6", 160 pounds, clean-shaven with gray hair. Anyone with information on his identity is asked to call the We Tip hotline at 1-800-78-CRIME. In Riverside, Robert Millen, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Opening statements began today in the trial of a former nuclear engineer at the San Onofre power plant accused of killing his wife. Prosecutors say Paul Curry slowly poisoned his wife with nicotine to collect nearly $550,000 in life insurance. In the months before her death, doctors were unable to figure out why Linda Curry was sick. Years later, scientific evidence led investigators to arrest her husband. We'll have a full report ahead at 8:30. And an email threat shuts down an Orange County school for 2 days. Officials at St. Mary's School in Aliso Viejo say someone sent a potentially threatening email yesterday. They're not releasing any details about the threat. Classes today and tomorrow were canceled as a precaution. 800 children attend the school, ranging from preschool to 8th grade. The Sheriff's Department is investigating.
2 teenagers accused of plotting a mass shooting at South Pasadena High School are facing new charges. Prosecutors amend their complaint to include 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder and 1 count of conspiracy to commit assault with a deadly weapon. The new charges apply to both the 16 and 17-year-olds. The suspects have already pleaded not guilty to making criminal threats against another teen. Officials say the teens wanted to kill as many people as possible. A trial is set to begin in 2 weeks.
U.S. strategy for handling the threat of ISIS is taking a turn. President Barack Obama is set to address the nation tomorrow night and announce more military support. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson has the details.
President Obama will address a joint House of Congress in prime time tomorrow night. He's announcing to the nation his strategy to defeat ISIS. He previewed that plan during an Oval Office meeting with congressional leaders today.
The president will make his case based firmly on what he believes is in the best interest of the United States.
It's not so much what he says. What I would like to see is what he does.
The White House says this week's formation of a more inclusive Iraqi government is a turning point. The U.S. is expected to increase airstrikes against ISIS over Iraq, but not necessarily over Syria. The administration is also working on building an international coalition to deal with the threat.
This is a very important challenge, and we have to be successful in rallying the international community to assist us with it.
A new poll shows that 90% of Americans now see ISIS as posing a vital threat to the U.S. 52% of the country believes the president has been too cautious in confronting ISIS.
I'd like to see the Obama that we saw in making the decision to go after Osama bin Laden.
65% of Americans now support airstrikes over Syria. The president hasn't committed to that yet and is ruling out ground troops in Syria. But it's clear that this conflict could last for years.
We're talking about a period of years here. We're talking about a military campaign that will go well into the next presidency. This is really incumbent on us to act.
The White House is not expected to say how long this latest phase of fighting will last or how much it could potentially cost. It's also not clear if a vote will happen on this issue before the midterm elections or not. Reporting from the newsroom, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The House of Representatives voted today to condemn President Obama over the handling of the Bo Bergdahl release, specifically for not giving them 30 days notice as required by law about the plan to exchange U.S.-held Taliban prisoners for Bergdahl, the Army sergeant held captive in Afghanistan. The resolution condemning the president does not have the force of law and will not be taken up in the Senate. Ray Rice and his wife are both speaking out, defending themselves after a video surfaced showing Rice knocking her out. Rice has been suspended from the NFL. As ABC's Karen Travers reports, the NFL commissioner is standing by the league's decision.
In less than 2 years, Ray Rice went from Super Bowl champion to out of the game. The NFL suspended the Baltimore Ravens all-star running back indefinitely. The controversy around this video, showing Rice hitting his then-fiancée, now wife, is not dying down. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell defended the league in an interview today with CBS News.
So did anyone in the NFL see the second videotape before Monday?
No.
No one in the NFL?
No one in the NFL, to my knowledge.
Today, the running back told ESPN, "I have to be strong for my wife. She is so strong." This morning, Janae Rice defended her husband in a post on Instagram. "I woke up this morning feeling like I had a horrible nightmare," she wrote. "To make us relive a moment in our lives that we regret every day is a horrible thing." In a statement Monday, the NFL told ABC News that video was not made available to us, and no one in our office has seen it until today.
If there's no video, Ray Rice would be playing in the National Football League next week.
And today, new questions about whether Rice should have faced prison time. Prosecutors now telling ABC he received the same treatment that any first-time offender has.
It is not unusual, a first offender with a victim who is very well supportive of him.
The NFL says it asked law enforcement for all video from that night, but didn't get it. But they didn't ask the Atlantic City casino where the incident took place. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Apple rolled out its latest gadgets today, and for the first time in years, it introduced a completely new product, a watch. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes shows us the new smartwatch, as well as the new versions of the iPhone.
When Apple rolls out a new iPhone, it's never a subdued event. And it's never lacking in the hyperbole department.
The biggest advancement, the most beautiful phone, the best phones you have ever seen.
The new phones have better cameras, better processors, and even a new mobile payment system called
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay, which can replace your credit card. All that whiz-bang technology is usually followed by public excitement.
I want it. I want it.
I want it all.
I want to get the phone.
But the biggest iPhone announcement today was the biggest iPhone ever. That's the 5S on the left. In the middle is the new bigger 6, and on the right is the super-sized 6 Plus. That's a 5.5-inch display. The people we talked with aren't that big on big.
I don't need bigger. I feel like the 6 Plus is too big. It's like having a tablet to your ear.
But while the new iPhones have some people excited, the big buzz in the Apple universe is being generated by its new watch. It's called the Apple Watch, complete with maps, messaging, video, and other offerings designed to work in sync with later model iPhones. But on the street, not a lot of early enthusiasm.
It doesn't interest me. It's like, Dick Tracy being revisited. I don't think I'd wear one because I don't like wearing wristwatches. It's not on the phone, so why would you wear a watch?
That's a question consumers will have some time to ponder. The Apple Watch won't be available until early next year, and it's going to set you back $349. The fancy new iPhones, however, will be out this month. The slightly larger 6 will start at $199. The much bigger 6 Plus will cost an extra $100 for all that extra screeners. In Pasadena, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Up next here at 8 o'clock, a mother calls 911 after seeing her daughter for the first time in months. Her emotional reaction.
Let's caught on camera, dramatic rescues as dangerous floods sweep across India.
And talk about a hot topic, why one group of daredevils thought it would be a good idea to dive into a volcano. They have the video to prove it, straight ahead.
I get worried about drinking warm tea. Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. Well, weather's changing. I'll show you with a 7-day coming up in just a bit.
A terrifying ordeal for an Indiana woman. She has been found alive after being held captive as a sex slave for 2 months. Here's a dramatic 911 call placed by the woman's mother after she learned her daughter was alive.
I need to get a hold of Detective Macy. This is Candace Lockwood.
Okay, I don't think he's working today. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes. He's been on my daughter's case looking for and we have got her.
You have
Yes.
Disappeared July 9th after police say she accepted a ride from a man she knew. Authorities say Ricky House and Kendra Tooley kept the woman in a wooden cage. She was rescued on Saturday after Tooley's ex-husband came to the couple's mobile home and was able to help the woman escape. House and Tooley face charges of kidnapping, criminal confinement, and battery.
Hundreds of thousands of people are being told to evacuate amid massive flooding in Pakistan and India. Some are crossing dangerous rivers and others are stranded on the roofs of their homes to escape the floodwaters. Troops are using boats and helicopters to supply survivors with food and medicine. 440 people have been killed so far, and officials say the homes of some 700,000 people in Pakistan could be inundated in the next few days. Las Vegas is still dealing with massive flooding today from monsoons. This video is from a monorail station behind Harrah's Casino. It shows water rushing under the bridge. And take a look at the scene at Interstate 15 near Mesquite. Flash flooding washed portions of the freeway, prompting officials to close a nearly 50-mile stretch between Las Vegas and Utah. It could take as many as 4 days to repair the road.
That is crazy. Danny joins us now, and back home it's nothing but heat and sunny weather.
But dry heat. You know, the humidity has dropped down now, so that tropical feel we've had is now on the way out, but there is still, of course, the heat doing its work. It's still a little bit of summertime left. It's going to feel like it. Let's go outside right now and look at a summer night in Burbank. The live HD camera showing you the valley looking pretty clear, and we're going to see a few more of these clear nights ahead of us over the next few days. We're looking outside to downtown, and there the sky's looking pretty good here on a Tuesday night. Temperature-wise, we're at 72 degrees, just barely a breeze of 6 miles per hour, a relative humidity at 59%, and the barometer on the rise now at 29.85. Here's the changing picture of our weather. A ridge of high pressure starting to build into our area. This always gives us that offshore flow. A couple of things happen here. As that circulation swings around that high, it pushes all that cool marine air out to shore, only allowing some night and morning clouds along the coastal spots only. But the inland spots with that offshore push tend to warm up a lot earlier in the day. That sun starts to work early in the day, which means higher temps by the afternoon, and we will be seeing that certainly tomorrow into Thursday, into the weekend as well, slowly raising temps to triple digits on the inland spots before the weekend is done. Here's the numbers we're looking at for tonight. Over the area, 63 down for Beaumont. We'll get down to 65 in San Bernardino. Redondo Beach goes to 67. We'll get to a low 60 in Lancaster. Tomorrow, the heat of the day gives us mid-90s, 95 for Lancaster. And look at that, triple digits in Santa Clarita with a 100. Malibu, though, beaches will eventually clear and warm up to 78 at Redondo, 77 at Huntington Beach, 78 at Dana Point, and the Inland Empire will be hot. 100 Riverside, 101 Lake Elsinore, 102 in Palm Springs. All right, the 7-day powered by AccuWeather and showing you those clouds at the beaches during the morning hours, and we'll stay low 90s for a couple of days. And then come the weekend, bumping up 92 to 96, the hottest day coming our way on Sunday, and still in the 90s as we head into next week, Monday and Tuesday. For the valleys and the Inland Empire, a very warm Wednesday coming our way, and that's just a hint of things to come. We go from 95 up to 100 to 104 by Sunday. The heat of the weekend, still triple digits on Monday and Tuesday. Mountain areas will be clear skies for the most part, mild conditions, sunny and mid-70s, and then there too, here comes the heat of the weekend. We get up to the 80s in the mountains. Watch out here. By Sunday, a few more clouds build up. A little of that tropical moisture returns for a bit of a visit Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, dropping temps down to 77 by Tuesday afternoon. Our high desert areas will be warm, breezy through the entire week, and here comes the heat of the desert. Still mid-90s for tomorrow and Thursday as we get to the weekend. Here comes that triple-digit heat, 100 to 101, and taking that right into next week as well. So if you want the heat, lots more on the way. Ellen, David, go ahead.
Oh, boy, Downey, thank you. Yeah. And tonight, a look at some startling videos sweeping the internet. A man rappels into an exploding volcano.
That man is Steve Kosman, and he tells us why he decided to get so close to such a dangerous site.
This is the jaw-dropping viral video heating up the internet. That's San Francisco adventure seeker Steve Kosman and 3 other explorers rappelling 1,200 feet down to a boiling pit of lava.
You know, I've just always had a great curiosity for adventures. I'm always interested in challenging myself in new ways, and this was something that I came across on the internet, and I just wanted to put a plan in place and make it happen.
The volcano was located on an isolated island off the coast of Australia. You could see the violent waves of lava spewing fiery rocks at their feet.
It's quite volatile, and it kind of ebbs and it flows, and it very much takes the form of what looks like water, actually, and it's extraordinary. Looking into the crater, it's about 2,000 degrees, and there's just waves of heat hitting you and melting camera gear and melting pretty much everything that the heat comes into contact with, so it's a very extreme place.
Kosman wears a special suit to protect him from the heat and the acid rain. He appears close enough to reach out and touch the swirling pool.
It's extraordinarily hot. Even with the suit on, you can sit there for a max of about 5 seconds or so before it's just unbearable and you have to kind of take a breather and step back by about 20 feet or so.
An up-close and personal encounter with one of Mother Nature's most terrifying yet mesmerizing masterpieces.
There's always an element of risk, but I suppose it was worth the risk for me.
The video of Kosman's adventure can be viewed on YouTube. It's already received more than 2 million hits. And if you're brave enough to go on a similar adventure, just go to xola.com.
I'll just watch the video. Thank you.
Totally.
Up next, new homes for local vets.
Plus, a patriotic flag that's not what it appears to be. A closer look.
And a deadly shark attack in Australia. Tonight, we're hearing from one of the people who tried to save the man.
A supersized American flag in Baltimore, but as the camera zooms in, you might notice that the size isn't the only remarkable thing about it. It's made up of people, 7,000 students, dressed up in red, white, and blue, and then got into position to form the giant flag at Maryland's Fort McHenry. 200 years ago, it was the sight of the flag waving over the fort after the Battle of Baltimore that inspired Francis Scott Key to write, the Star-Spangled Banner.
Home Depot is teaming up with Habitat for Humanity to build homes for local veterans. A team of volunteers got to work in Santa Clarita today on the construction of 6 veteran community homes, which will be part of an 87-home community. Local veteran Veronica Lemus not only helped build the homes, she and her family will move into one when it's finished.
It's going to change our life because now we're going to be able to get a bigger home for my 7 children, and also in a very nice community here in Santa Clarita with the best view ever.
This is all part of Home Depot's annual celebration of service. Between now and Veterans Day, the company and its nonprofit partners will transform more than 1,000 homes for veterans all across the country.
We're updating the evening's top stories next at 8:30, including new evidence that ISIS is recruiting Americans online. Some of the recruits, young women for marriage.
Plus, how our hot, dry weather is good news if you're a flea.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, a whale swimming close to shore in Marina del Rey. I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Gray whale was first sighted this afternoon swimming south along the shore. It made its way into the Marina del Rey harbor where it stayed for a while. Boaters and onlookers are being urged to keep their distance. The whale has since moved a bit further away from the shore, but it does remain in the area.
In a rare primetime address, President Barack Obama will make his case for a stepped-up campaign to fight the threat from ISIS. In his speech tomorrow, he's expected to outline the strategy, including more U.S. airstrikes in Iraq. A new poll shows 90% of Americans see ISIS as a vital threat to the U.S. interests. It's unclear if Congress will vote on an authorization of force before the midterm election in November.
And tonight there's new evidence of Americans being recruited by those terrorists, targeting them online, some of them young women hoping to marry ISIS members. ABC's Pierre Thomas has details.
ABC News has learned ISIS and other terrorists in Syria have launched a new recruitment campaign targeting young American women using social media and online videos like this.
The advice that I have for the sisters is very important that they come to this place. Here, you prefer to live among the worst of creatures rather than live among the Mujahideen.
Sources tell ABC News as many as a dozen young American women have tried to join Islamic radicals in Syria. Prosecutors say Shannon Conley, a 19-year-old nurse's aide living in suburban Denver, was one of them. According to the FBI, Conley met a 32-year-old Tunisian man who openly told her he was with ISIS in Syria. Conley, a recent Muslim convert, had found a kindred spirit who stoked her radicalism. The two began Skyping, even making plans to marry.
I think it's very possible that as they train women, that you could see them as suicide bombers.
The FBI said Conley soon began training in military tactics and weapons. Concerned local residents from this church tipped off the FBI, who confronted her. Agents say Conley was blunt, telling them she wanted to wage jihad. But despite repeated warnings from the FBI not to travel to Syria, authorities say Conley was hell-bent on going there to marry the ISIS fighter. She was arrested in Denver trying to board a flight to Germany, connecting to a city in Turkey near the Syrian border. Sources say the tickets were provided by her ISIS fiancé.
ABC's Pierre Thomas reporting. He also reports that the woman allegedly told the FBI her plan was to be an ISIS camp nurse, but that she would fight if called on to do that.
Opening statements begin in the trial of a man accused of poisoning his wife. Paul Curry says he didn't do it, but 20 years after the death, prosecutors believe they have enough evidence to close the case. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia reports from Santa Ana.
It was always, for him, a paycheck.
20 years after his wife, Linda Curry, died, Paul Curry is on trial for her murder. In his opening statement, the prosecutor says Curry killed his wife, who did not smoke, with nicotine.
And you're going to hear how easy it is. Not just for a chemist. Not just for somebody who works as a nuclear engineer. How easy it is for anybody to get nicotine in the form that can be used as a poison.
The prosecution says months before her death, Linda Curry was hospitalized a few times after feeling ill. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. Then one night in June of 1994, sheriff's investigators say Paul Curry called from the couple's home in San Clemente, reporting Linda had stopped breathing. She later died at a hospital. Years later, detectives took another look at the case. Scientific evidence sent them to interview Paul Curry, who was now living in Kansas.
Would you have a reason to kill Linda? Absolutely not. No? No.
But Curry was arrested and charged with murder. The prosecution claims the motive, nearly $550,000 from Linda Curry's life insurance policies.
Linda, however, had some health issues.
But Curry's defense attorney says not so fast. This isn't murder. She argues Linda Curry was not well.
She'd been diagnosed over the years with things from chronic fatigue syndrome to Epstein-Barr to, and you'll hear what some of these things are. She'd also been diagnosed with thyroid problems. She'd been diagnosed with anxiety and depression.
Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Paul Curry has been charged with one count of murder, and if convicted, he faces a maximum of life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The remains of a 20-year-old nursing student, Holly Bobo, have been found. Bobo was abducted from her Tennessee home 3 years ago. Sunday, 2 hunters found a skull not far from the property owned by the family of suspect Zachary Adams. It was determined to be Bobo. Adams and a second man have been charged with kidnapping and murder. They've pleaded not guilty. The district attorney is considering seeking the death penalty in this case.
A preliminary report on the crash of a Malaysia Airlines flight in Ukraine answers few questions. It finds that the plane broke up in midair, likely after being hit by, quote, high-energy objects from outside the aircraft. In other words, the jet was probably shot down by a missile, which was already widely suspected. All 289 people on board were killed. 7 weeks later, the wreckage remains at the crash site, exposed to the elements. The report gives no indication as to who was responsible. Suspicion has fallen on pro-Russian rebels or even Russian military personnel. A man was killed in a shark attack at a popular tourist destination in Australia. The man was off Byron Bay with a shark, possibly this great white, bit his leg, nearly tearing it off. The man's wife was watching from the beach as it happened. A man who was also on the beach swam out to try to rescue the victim, even as the shark attacked again.
Shark was probably maybe 40, 50 feet away, and then I dragged him onto the sand, and we then tried to give him CPR and mouth-to-mouth for about 20 minutes. He'd been attacked in the leg, and he'd obviously bled to death in the water.
Byron Bay has now been the site of 4 fatal shark attacks in a little more than 20 years. All beaches in the area have been closed for at least 24 hours.
Tonight, a 4th American aid worker with Ebola is getting treatment at Emory University in Atlanta. A specially equipped plane carrying the infected doctor touched down this morning at an air base outside the city. He'll be cared for by the same doctors who successfully treated 2 other infected aid workers last month. Meantime, the World Health Organization said today that Ebola has killed more than 2,000 people in 5 countries.
Well, this is news that could make your skin crawl. Southern California pets are being found with fleas at an alarming rate. Could our current drought be partly to blame? Eyewitness News reporter Giovanna Lara takes a closer look.
10-year-old Cash has a little ouchie. It's a hot spot his owner says was caused from a flea bite, and his owner should know. She's a veterinarian.
It's definitely one of the worst flea seasons I've seen in the 8 years that I've been here in this area.
Dr. Mary Ashley Wakehart says the phones are ringing off the hook at the Beverly Oaks Pet Hospital in Sherman Oaks with calls from concerned animal owners.
Every day we have people call in to say, you know, my dog's itchy or my cat's itchy. I don't see fleas, but I think that's the problem, and they come in and it is the problem.
Some believe the drought could be playing a role in the uptick of fleas, but Wakehart believes it's something else.
I think humidity is a big factor in the flea larva and the eggs hatching into larvae and staying in the environment. I don't think the actual drought is affecting how many fleas are out there. Again, I think it's more related to where people are buying flea products. More people are trying methods that aren't working, so there's more fleas in the environment, and it's just a snowball effect.
Another factor, wild animals. Southern California has plenty of them, including squirrels, skunks, and coyotes.
You just have to check your dog when you get home and make sure that they're on a good flea control.
The best protection for your pets, according to Wakehart, is oral flea prevention. The pills, which are ingested by your pets, can keep them flea-free for up to a month.
I like the orals just because you never have to worry about, did you give it correctly?
And don't be fooled if you don't see any fleas on your pets. Wakehart says if they're itching and scratching, they've been bitten. And if that's the case, it could be time to clean house.
The best weapon that you have against flea infestation in your house would be your vacuum cleaner. If you can vacuum like crazy, that doesn't cost you a thing. Bedding, wash in hot water, and then get a really good flea prevention from your veterinarian and not online and not from a pet store, drugstore, grocery store. You know, you spend a couple extra dollars to actually get it from a source that you can trust, and you'll end up saving in the long run because it's hard to get rid of them once you have them in your house.
Giovanna Lara, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well, tonight, news of an enormous federal shot in the arm for a construction project designed to curb hundreds of accidents and ease congestion in Diamond Bar. A federal grant of $10 million has been awarded to the 5760 Confluence Project, which will add lanes to the interchange connecting the 2 freeways. Congressman Ed Royce says it's great news for drivers.
This is a big solution. It means less pollution. It means people getting home earlier, and it means much less in the way of accidents, because right now we have 2 accidents a day as those 2 freeways become one, and trucks try to move all the way across 5 lanes.
The project is expected to be completed in 2016.
Entertainment news next at 8 o'clock, including Katie Seagal's big day on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, plus this.
It's something uniquely American, and so it does my heart good.
Entertainer Dwayne Brady gets ready to romance theater audiences in a new production of the classic Kitsby Kate.
Hi there, I'm Danny Romero, and yes, there is some big, warm heat coming our way. I'll tell you about that with a 7-day in just a bit.
Today, actress Katie Segal joined the ranks of those honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Segal saw her star unveiled this morning on Hollywood Boulevard, and along with dozens of fans, she also had plenty of past and present co-stars on hand to help celebrate this special Hollywood honor.
You are the people I've had the pleasure of playing with and learning from crying in your arms to screaming in your face and to falling down laughing.
Segal currently stars in the FX drama Sons of Anarchy. Her breakout role came in 1986 with the comedy Married with Children. Segal's Walk of Fame star is next to that of her TV husband from that sitcom, Ed O'Neill.
Broadway executives finally saw the light and decided to dim them this evening in Joan Rivers' honor. The lights were dimmed at 6:45 Eastern Time tonight. Initially, Broadway executives had chosen not to acknowledge Rivers' passing with the tradition, but pressure mounted and several shows said they would do it anyway. One producer said Rivers had always been a champion for the New York theater. And Cher's Dress to Kill concert tour is on hold because she's come down with a virus. 68-year-old singer was diagnosed over the weekend with what doctors termed an acute viral infection. She's been ordered a full bed rest for several days. 2 shows have been rescheduled. She is expected to return to the stage in Pennsylvania on Monday night.
He's been an actor, a comedian, a talk show host, a game show host, and now Wayne Brady is coming to Pasadena as a true song and dance man in the Cole Porter classic Kiss Me Kate. Eyewitness News reporter Adrian Alford takes us behind the scenes.
Wayne Brady leads a talented cast in the upcoming Pasadena Playhouse production of Kiss Me Kate.
It's something uniquely American, and so it does my heart good to get cast in something like this because it really lets you rip loose and go, this is it. It has every trick and it works because I think that's the American way of life when it comes to anything. Theater, cars, cinema, science. We just go for it.
Not to mention money for a rainy day.
Whether he's wowing crowds on the stage, doing improv, or hosting, Brady has made a name for himself in lots of different genres.
That's the cool part about people knowing you for different things. I actually think it means that I've been successful in the one hope that I had as a kid. I said, I just want to work.
Brady says it wasn't until learning the music for this show that he truly began to appreciate Cole Porter's work, and he hopes audiences will feel the same way.
Listen to the lyrics. The man's a poet. So when I think poetry, you know, kids, I love hip-hop too, but next time instead of just turning on Jay-Z, listen to some Cole Porter, and you can hear someone really, really kill it.
Kiss Me Kate opens at Pasadena Playhouse next week and runs through October 12th. Adrian Alford, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Superhero fans have a marvelous day in Hollywood to celebrate today's DVD release of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Fans took part in a contest that had them searching for special flip drives stacked in a vending machine. The idea mirrors a pivotal scene in the movie. Fans of all ages found their way to the secret flip drives outside Amoeba Records. They won prizes ranging from posters to comics to DVDs. Grand prize is tickets to next summer's red carpet premiere of the next Avengers movie, Age of Ultron.
Danny Romero says there's a big change coming in our forecast. He has complete details up next.
Plus in sports, USC gets ready to back-to-back road games, and history is not on the side of the 9th-ranked Trojans. Could there be a letdown against the BC? It's not just California suffering from the drought. In Reno, Nevada, a lake has turned toxic. No fresh water has been coming into Virginia Lake, causing it to go stagnant. In turn, it has become contaminated with an algae bloom, which is dangerous to humans and animals. Dozens of dead birds have been pulled from the lake.
My little ducks are dying. My 3 favorite ducks that I don't see them anymore. I looked for the swan this morning. I didn't see him.
Fish in the lake are dying as well. The lake is a popular dog walking spot, but the city has put up warning signs telling people to keep themselves, their children, and their pets away from the water.
And we need some rain so badly. Obviously, we're not going to get it anytime soon.
No.
But we're going to get the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Dry heat.
Wow.
But as opposite you can get. It's summertime in Southern California, meaning the heat is certainly with us, and now it's going to increase a bit into the weekend. We'll show you why here in a second. Let's go outside right now. Take a live shot. Feel a little relief from the heat. You get down to the coast. Here's our live HD camera of Laguna Beach for a Tuesday. Not bad. Looking pretty good. Marine layer could be moving into some of the beach areas tonight into the morning hours. Our downtown skyline LA looking pretty good. 72 degrees. That's a nice summer night temperature. 6-mile-per-hour winds. 59% relative humidity. And today, yeah, it was a hot one. Average temperature this date is 84. We got to 91 downtown. And we'll see a sunrise tomorrow at 6:33. Enjoy the full moon tonight. A few clouds that we have over Southern California just kind of coming in during the nighttime hours. We're looking for more clear kind of weather coming our way. Reason being all that tropical moisture moving out of the area so that humidity is now dropped down, hence the very dry conditions. But we see this ridge of high pressure that's going to build in and give us this offshore flow, and we're going to see some real heat come out of this high pressure ridge. We're talking about temps going from what were 80s and even some low 90s to triple digits before the weekend is done. A little bit of relief on the coast, some morning clouds and fog just on the beach areas, but inland spots, no cloud cover there. When that sun rises up, it starts to heat up things very quickly during the day, so we'll see temperatures start to jump up and not get down very cool at night. Overnight lows 66 for downtown and Inglewood, 60 for Lancaster, 61 for Santa Clarita. Then the highs tomorrow, here comes the heat, and it's just starting. 95 in Palmdale, 100 in Santa Clarita. Pasadena will get to 94. We'll see a 78 for Redondo Beach tomorrow. Long Beach gets to 90 degrees. Anaheim to 91. Ontario to 95. Out to Palm Springs, 102 out there. Here comes our 7-day power back weather, and watch the numbers slowly climb up. 91 and 90 for tomorrow and Thursday with those morning clouds at the beach areas. Then sunny and hot into the weekend. We get up to 92 and then jumping to 96 on Sunday, the hottest day. Still, we're going to be pretty hot and sunny Monday and Tuesday with low 90s for the average highs. Again, way above the average temp for this date. Valley's Inland Empire, a very warm Wednesday. Still so on Thursday. Then here comes the heat wave kicking into the weekend, getting to topping up at 104 by the end of the weekend, and still pretty hot. 102. 100 degrees for Monday and Tuesday for our Valley and Inland Empire spots. Mountain spots are going to look great, feel pretty good for the next couple of days as we stay in that 73, 75 degree range for Wednesday and Thursday. But come the weekend, here comes the heat in the mountain spots too, up to the 80s. We add in some of that tropical moisture, some cumulus clouds moving in anyway on Sunday, and still we'll call it partly sunny skies, warm Monday and Tuesday. The high deserts will be windy all week, at least to breezy and windy conditions, and then here comes the heat. Desert heat, 95 to 96, and then, yeah, triple digits all the way through. Desert dry heat. So there's some relief there anyway. David, Ellen, go ahead.
Danny, thank you. The USC football team is on the road again after a huge win on the farm last weekend in Palo Alto. The 9th-ranked Trojans will make a cross-country journey to Boston College in a game televised nationally on ESPN. The Trojans looking for their first 3-0 start since 2011. In the last 10 seasons, USC is only 6-4 in back-to-back roadies. They did blast the Eagles 35-7 last year at the Coliseum. USC quarterback Cody Kessler says the team needs to stay focused and avoid a letdown.
We're going to treat every game the same. You know, we could travel out of the country and these guys are still going to show up. It doesn't matter where we play at. So our main focus, is the opponent rather than where we're playing them at or what time or anything like that.
The fallout continues in Atlanta. On Sunday, Hawks co-owner Bruce Levinson announced he's selling his share of the team because of a racially insensitive email he sent. Today, the team's general manager, Danny Ferry, apologized for racially inflammatory remarks about forward Luol Deng. Ferry was disciplined but will keep his job. In June, during an organizational conference, Ferry read out loud a scouting report on Dang, saying, quote, "He's got a little African in him, but not in a bad way. He's a guy who would have a nice storefront but sell you counterfeit stuff out of the back." Another Hawks co-owner, Michael Giron, thinks Ferry should have been fired and said so in a letter to the team's other investors. Quote, "We believe these comments by Ferry were far worse than Donald Sterling's because they were not from a private conversation. They were in a business environment in front of a dozen or more people." The USA basketball team is moving on to the semifinals of the FIBA World Cup. Coach K's team was clicking on all cylinders against Slovenia. Third quarter, Kyrie Irving beats the buzzer with a layup, and then Irving pulls up for a jumper. He finished with 12 points in this one. Another quarter, fourth quarter, Derrick Rose with a theft. He dishes it to DeMarcus Cousins for the Monster Jam, and Team USA goes on to win this one 119-76. Their next play is Lithuania for a spot on Sunday's gold medal game.
Well, for most White House outsiders, visiting the Oval Office is a real thrill, but one young visitor appeared to not be very interested in the decorum or even the president himself. White House released this photo of a young boy who did a face plant right into a comfy tan sofa in the Oval Office while his parents chatted with President Obama. The boy is the son of a departing Secret Service agent. He came to the White House with his parents to meet the president, but he didn't seem too thrilled about the visit.
That's a great photo. It will last forever.
Yep.
Yeah. More news straight ahead here at 8:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. Why is a convicted killer on Facebook? He's serving time for stabbing a 16-year-old girl to death. Tonight, her angry family wants answers. Plus, how much caffeine is too much? The new findings. We'll have these stories and all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. Some adorable baby pictures to share with you. Meet Petunia, the greater one-horned rhino. Yesterday, the 4-week-old calf was exploring her new surroundings in the 40-acre exhibit at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. She stayed close to her mom for security. Petunia was underweight when she was born, so she had to grow and get stronger before being released into the exhibit. Petunia is the 67th greater one-horned rhino born at the Safari Park since 1975.
Pretty darn cute. Well, look at this.
Aww.
A cheetah cub is recovering quickly after undergoing surgery at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Rookshaw is back on his feet and enjoying his daily walks with puppy pal Raina. Raina stayed by his side all through his surgery last week to correct problems with his front legs.
Aww.
The cub and pup have been best buds since they were 4 and 5 weeks old.
Wow.
Look at him.
What a face.
Yeah, how cute.
Think she can outrun the dog?
I got a feeling.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. We'll see you.
Good night.